Hello, welcome back to the Code Cloud. My name is Ravi. Today we are going to talk about Terraform providers. As you know, Terraform is used to create, manage, and update infrastructure resources such as physical machines, VMs, network resources, containers, and more. Almost any infrastructure type can be represented as a Terraform resource. These resources can be on-prem systems or on cloud platforms such as AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud, etc. The question is how Terraform can interact and manage those resources. There is a small piece of code that helps Terraform to interact with on-prem or cloud platforms. These are called as providers. Terraform providers are nothing but the plugins that helps Terraform to interact with cloud platforms such as AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud, and APIs like GitHub, Kubernetes, etc. Terraform works with numerous providers. Let's navigate to the browser and see how many types of providers available. Let's write Terraform Providers. This is the registry that hosts all kind of Terraform providers available. So there are specific Terraform providers that are used for specific resources, like AWS provider can only provision AWS infrastructure resources. Same goes for Azure, Google, and other cloud providers. Using AWS provider, you can manage AWS EC2 instances, storage buckets, and any kind of service that is available in AWS cloud platform. Every resource type is implemented by a provider. Without providers, Terraform can't manage any kind of infrastructure. Providers are distributed separately from Terraform itself, and each provider has its own release cadence and version numbers. The Terraform registry is the main directory of publicly available Terraform providers and hosts providers for most major infrastructure platforms. Each provider has its own documentation. Let's navigate to the Google Cloud Platform provider. And if you click on documentation, you can see there are documentation available for Google Cloud. And in the left pane, you can see all kind of services available for Google Cloud. And when you click on resources, you can provision any kind of resources that is available in Google Cloud. Providers are released separately from Terraform itself and have their own version numbers. You can see the version number of Google Cloud Provider is 5.19. This is the current version. In production, I recommend constraining the acceptable provider version in the configuration of provider's requirement block to make sure that Terraform init does not install newer versions of the provider that are incompatible with the configuration. Some providers on the registry are developed and published by HashiCorp, some are published by the platform maintainers, and some are published by users and volunteers. Let's get back to the Google provider. Click on Using Providers. This is the main provider block for Google Cloud Platform. And if you want to get the provider for GitHub, let's navigate to the browser and type GitHub Providers. Click on Integrations GitHub, and you can see the current version is 6.0, and you can use any kind of authentication method over here. You can use personal access token or GitHub app installation. So let's just try creating a GitHub repository using GitHub Providers. Let's just navigate to my Visual Studio editor. I have already written down Terraform configuration for GitHub repositories. This is the provider configuration for GitHub, where we have to provide the personal access token. This is the GitHub repository Terraform resource. The repo name would be tf test repository. It would be a public repository. As we have declared a variable called token, so we have to provide the token in variable block. So let's navigate to the GitHub and create a personal access token. You can see there are 14 repositories available in my profile. Let's just create a personal access token. Just click on settings, scroll down to the bottom and click on developer setting. We have to create classic token. Click on generate new token. You can give any names. TF test. You can control the expiration of these tokens. I'm going to give 7 days. You can control the authorization of this token. What we can do using this token. So only I need to create the repository. So I'll choose this repo and delete repo. Click on generate token. We got this token. Let's copy this, paste it in here in the variable block. As you know, at the beginning, you have to run Terraform init command. So let's just initialize the Terraform init, enter. So our repository is initialized now. Let's see the plan. Terraform plan. You can see there's a one resource is going to be created. The Terraform resource is GitHub repo with the name of tf test repository. Let's just apply this configuration. Terraform apply. Right, yes, the GitHub repository is being created and it is done. You can see here there is a tf state file is created. Now let's navigate to the GitHub and see whether there is a new repository is created or not. And you can see there are 15 repositories and this is newly created tf test repository that is created via Terraform.